morning. Over the past 4 years, our family has been through a lot. We couldn't have been through it without our faith and our family and our friends and all the supporters here today. And we just want to thank you for that. We want to thank you especially for all your prayers. We know that you've been with us and you've stood with us all the way, and we can't thank you enough. I'm so proud of the work that Scott does. It kind of chokes me up a little bit because he's such a hard worker for the state of Wisconsin, and I think you all know that. So at this time, I'd like to introduce an amazing father, a wonderful husband, and our governor, Scott Walker.
Thanks to Tonette, and we've got our sons Alex and Matt here. My brother David is here. My sister-in-law Maria are here as well, and we're pleased to be joined with all of the Walker family and the Clayfish family. Thank you all for coming out here today at Dane Manufacturing. It's good to be back, and we appreciate having you all here with us. You know, today Rebecca and I are announcing our campaign for governor and lieutenant governor across the state, and we're kicking it off right here, the first stop at Dane Manufacturing. So thank you for coming out and joining us here today. We appreciate it. On behalf of Rebecca and I, we want to thank you for your support because so many of you here helped us out in 2010 and again in 2012, and now you're helping us out here in 2014. And we appreciate the support. More importantly, as Tonette mentioned, we appreciate your prayers throughout this process of going forward. It's really been an exciting ride, but think about it for a moment. Remember how things were 4 years ago here in the state of Wisconsin? Things have gotten pretty bad. I mean, think about it. 4 years ago at this point, we had more than 130,000 jobs that were being lost during Jim Doyle's last term in office. The budget deficit, what was over $3 billion. And taxes, well, think about it on a day like today, taxes were going up. The future of Wisconsin was looking pretty dark at that point. Now, thankfully, things have all changed since then. Wisconsin is turning around. In fact, think about it. The budget deficit, well, that deficit is now a surplus of nearly $1 billion. And taxes are going down. How about that on a day like today? Taxes are going down. We wanted to make sure that you, the hardworking taxpayers of Wisconsin, would see real relief. And so over the last 3 years, we've reduced your tax burden by more than $2 billion. How about that? Now, that's pretty important on a day like today, on a day like April 15th, because, you know, when I travel this state, I got to tell you, if I get outside of the Capitol, I don't hear people say to me, hey, Scott, I don't think I sent enough of my money to Madison. I just don't hear that. I don't hear people say that my taxes are too low or even that my taxes are just about right. What I hear from one end of the state to the other, from one end of the state to the other, over and over and over and over again, is people telling me if you want to continue the economic recovery that got us to this surplus in the first place, the best thing you can do is put that money back in the hands of the people who earned it, the hardworking taxpayers of Wisconsin, and that's exactly what we're doing. You see, we understand that as hardworking taxpayers, as consumers and employers, you're going to put that money right back to work. One of the great things we've done, and thinking about it not just today on Income Tax Day, but thinking ahead to December, this December, with that in mind, your property taxes for a typical home in the state are actually going to go down. In fact, they're not only going to be lower in December of 2014 than they were last year, they're going to be lower this December than they were in December of 2010. How about that? I said that's great news for working families, for senior citizens, for farmers and small business owners all across the state. But best of all, the greatest news out there that we have to share today is that more people are working in Wisconsin. Over 100,000 new jobs have been created since we've taken office. That's the most exciting news of the day. In fact, last year alone, we saw the largest private sector job growth we've seen since, well, the 1990s. But you know what? We're definitely not done yet. That's why Rebecca and I are running again, because we know there's more work to be done, and with your help, we're going to do it. You know, Wisconsin really is moving forward, and when I think about it, it's an important time, because I think about our sons and a lot of other sons and daughters like them across the state. We've got many young men, and young women across the state who are going to college. And thanks to our first 2 and now 4-year tuition freeze, more students and more working families can afford to send their sons and daughters to get a great education at one of our many UW campuses all across the state. How about that? You know, and families are planning vacations again. Tourism spending is up, and more families are going to sleep at night knowing that they have access to health care. You may not know this, but for the first time in our state's history, everyone living in poverty, for the first time ever in our state's history, everyone living in poverty will be covered with health care under Medicaid because of this administration, our goals going forward. On top of all of that, we've got an unemployment rate here in Wisconsin that's well below the national average and more than 3 points lower than it was in 2010. Things are heading in the right direction. We've made major investments in worker training. When I think about it, over the last year alone, we've invested more than $100 million into the education needed to prepare people for the positions that are open and in demand today. Now, that's really important, because we want to make sure that everyone who wants a job can find a job. That's really what the future is all about. Now, our vision going ahead in the next term is pretty simple. We want to reduce the demand, we want to reduce the dependency on government, and increase the dependency on hard work and personal pride. Isn't that what it's all about? Hard work and pride. You see, as I think about where we've been and where we're headed, it's a remarkable turnaround. And it's one of those things where, you know, our vision is really simple. By moving people more towards a focus on hard work and pride, we're changing things. That's real progress. Now, over the last few years, we had to make some tough decisions, right? But the good news is they paid off. They paid off, and today, because of the positive results of those tough decisions of the last few years, Wisconsin is that much better because of it, and we're going to be even better going forward. I see it as I travel the state each week. In fact, today is going to be one of those typical days like the days leading up till now and the days between now and November 4th. From here, we're going off to La Crosse and up to Chippewa Falls and over to Schofield and to Green Bay, and tonight we'll be in West Dallas. We're traveling the state, and as I travel the state each week, not just for the campaign, but in the days since the last election, I go to factories and farms and small businesses. I go to hospitals and clinics and schools, and what I see and introduced to are some amazing people who are doing some incredible jobs in this state. And what I see is that things are getting better in Wisconsin. Now, that's important, because 4 years ago, when we got into the race for governor, the reason we did it was simple. You see, Tonette and I were looking at where the state was headed, and we were very concerned that the future for our sons, Matt and Alex, would not be as great as the one that we had growing up here in this state. Today, I'm proud to tell you, 4 years later, that because of the success of our positive reforms, the future is looking really quite bright. We're excited about the future. And so today I officially ask for your vote. I ask for your vote again so that not just my sons, but every son and daughter, every grandson and granddaughter in this state can grow up in a Wisconsin that's even greater than the one that we grew up in. You know, the great news is with your help, we can do it. Wisconsin's back. Wisconsin is on the right track again. With your help, we can continue to move this state forward. With your help, we can make Wisconsin even greater than it was before. With your help, we're going to ultimately go forward with a great success. And because of that, Wisconsin's back on. Thank you so much for coming out here today. We look forward to your support. God bless you, and God bless the great state of Wisconsin.